things he's saying.
The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
Most
people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the f***? You're not supposed to do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society.
I think that...
Oh my God.
So let's talk about it. This aligns. I'm changing the order because it just flows with the conversation that we're already having.
In the comment section, let me know, do you think he have a point about some of the things he's saying?
The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
Most
people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the f***? You're not supposed to do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society.
I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% true, or telling 100% truth for certain black people. Like if you've ever lived in America long enough to...
Let me pause it right there. And then I'm going to rewind what he said again. There's people in my family. There's people in my friend group. There's a reason why I try to follow, like, I try to be principled and follow the rules. I'm laughing because a lot of times we try to excuse certain behavior or rationalize why we should be able to do certain things based on, well, this happened to my people a long time ago. This happened to Let's just be honest, yo. Let's be honest. A lot of the stuff that he's saying, it was created. Now, a lot of times I think that this was created by victimhood. When you convince somebody that things are always happening to them and that things have been unfair to them, what do they tend to do? They tend to justify why things should now be overly or unfair for other people and more favorable to them at the expense of other people, at the expense of things being fair. We've seen this happen when it comes to DEI. Which is why my takeaway on DEI, you could say that it started off with affirmative action and it did some good things in the beginning, but eventually it was always going to lead to this. You can't solve racism with racism. You can't, it gets to a point where, okay, affirmative action, that may have been seen as some form of reparations to repair something. But when you continue it on for so long with DEI, what ends up happening? Now you're justifying certain people getting certain opportunities, whether colleges or any other place, that they do not deserve based on the standards. And now they're getting those opportunities based on them being black. And it's taking away certain opportunities from other people because, oh, we got to, have more black people. We got to have more women. We got to have, and DEI, obviously we understand that the studies have shown that it helps white women and people who have disabilities and a whole bunch of other people more than black people, which is another complete argument in itself. But this is just my takeaway on a lot of this stuff. You can't solve racism with just reverse it. Eventually what's going to happen? Then you're going to have to reverse it back. Then you got to reverse it. We just got to figure out a way to stop looking at all of these sub-identities as our primary identity. The only way that America is going to work, in my opinion, is if we create an America where people are proud to identify as America before identifying with all of the other things that we identify with. That's how I look at humanity. The only way for us to live in harmony when it comes to humanity is for us to feel that we're identifying more so with humanity and prioritizing that identity above all of the other different identities, whether it's religious, whether it's country, whether it's sexual orientation, whatever it may be. Now, y'all may be sitting here thinking, looking at me like, yeah, right, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen if we believe it's never going to happen. But to me, it's the only option. So either we'll get there by choice or we'll get there by force. Let's rewind it back. Let me know. Does Nick Fuentes have a point when he says all these things? Is this your experience with black people? I don't know. Is this your experience? We just saw the comment that Bonds made about when we talk about Jews, right? When we talk about an entire group of people, even when we talk about the entertainment industry, let's be real. Out of the entire Jewish population, it's a very small percentage that's clearly running the hip hop industry. But when we call it out, we say Jews. We say Jewish people, right? So is Nick Fuentes wrong when he calls out his interactions with black people and he calls out the most radical ones? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Let's listen to it again.
Black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
Most
people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the f***? You're not supposed to do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society.
I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% true, or telling 100% truth, for certain black people. Like if you've ever lived in America long enough to be around different groups of people, live in diverse cities, you realize this is not most black people, but it is sections of black communities and experiences that people are having with black people like this. I think black people do this more than anybody else do it per capita, but this is not every black person is like this. Like,
did y'all just hear the BSing that he just gave? He went from this is not every black person to, well, I think black people do this more per capita than any other group, but it's not every black person. So for Nick Fuentes to say something about black people, it has to be every single black person. Every single black person doesn't represent what black culture has become and penetrated around the entire world. However, it's still known as black culture. It's not realistic. This is what happens when we can't remove our emotions and just say, you know what? This young kid has a point. This young kid has a point. And this is what impacts us in so many different areas. This is why I say when Nick Fuentes came on the show and saying, are there any real niggas left? Brandon Tatum. Let's just be honest. And y'all may say this is out of left field, but and I'm not even talking specifically about him. You're married to a white woman, right? Cool. I have absolutely no issue with that. We're getting ready to actually get into intermarriage and a conversation around that. We're going to go a bunch of different places today. You're married to a white woman. We see a lot of successful players and stuff. Now, even though stats came out that the majority of black men who are successful I think marry black women, like it's the overwhelming majority. Now, it's always been a thing that black men get successful and then they marry outside of their race. And I think right now, because there's such conflict between black men and black women, that this is a conversation that comes up a lot more than it used to before. I have these conversations with some of my black friends where they're like, damn, like I feel bad, like dating a white girl. I feel like I should be dating a black girl. Like I feel bad about this. But you know what we also have a conversation on is why you feel that you're ending up with a white woman. And see, if people keep it real with black women instead of Dr. Umar trying to pander and Dr. Umar running around saying that marriage or interracial marriage is terrible, why don't you actually address the root of the problem?
First and foremost, want to give a huge shout out to everybody that continues to tap in with us, like and subscribe and join our community. If you haven't already, please make sure that you do. We look forward to engaging in some dope convo with you that can help us all elevate. So like, subscribe, and maybe even share the video if you're feeling real generous. On that note, we'll let you get back to the video. See you soon.
Why are so many black men feeling this about black women? Why are so many black women feeling this about black men? Or does it have to apply to every single? See, I can't make a comment about black women because then how will black women take it? Well, that's not every single black woman. Okay. Can't have a conversation about that. I have absolutely no problem when people talk about black men. If it applies to me, cool. I need to look internally and address it. If it doesn't apply to me, then It doesn't apply to me. But I don't have to be overly emotional and go into defense mode where I'm just trying to defend it because you're talking about a group of people that I am a part of. If that behavior does not align with my behavior, it is what it is. Matter of fact, let's figure out a way to address it. Now, Officer Tatum, he's sitting there trying to play. This is where the realness comes in. He's trying to play both sides. He's trying to not say, well, you know, what he's saying is right, but it's only right for some black people. Well, isn't that the case with how we describe any and everything? Nothing applies to everybody. If we say that, hey, there's a lot of former NFL players that go broke after playing in the NFL, and that's not all NFL players. Or if I just said NFL players go broke after the NFL, and somebody got mad and said, well, that's not all. Well, when you look at the numbers, what they used to be, 80 to 85% filed bankruptcy within 5 years of leaving the NFL, I think that that's a fair statement. Oh, well, it's not all of them, so you can't bring. It's a corny argument, in my opinion.
Having with black people like this. I think black people do this more than anybody else do it per capita, but this is not every black person is like this. Like we went to IHOP when we were in Orlando, Florida. The black people in there were ghetto, but they were nice. Not every black person that's in the hood is a bad person. I grew up in the hood. Most black people in the hood.
Who is saying that every black person that grows up in the hood is a bad person? Like, you see how it just gets to a point where it's like, yo, what are you even talking about?
Don't like the black people that are acting up. Most black people in the hood are not acting up. It's the ones that act up get the most attention. Ghetto, but they were nice. Not every black person that's in the hood is a bad person. I grew up in the hood. Most black people in the hood don't like the black people that are acting up.
Most black people in the hood don't like the black people that are acting up. So that's exactly why we need to call it out. And this should extend to America. This should extend to every single culture, every single identity that we mistakenly, in my opinion, when it comes to godliness, that we mistakenly prioritize over just our identity as humans. We're not able to do this, or we make this. We're not able to properly call out the bad behavior. I'm going off on a tangent. My fault. Let me stay focused. We'll watch the rest of this video and then we'll get into the video that I was telling y'all about.
Most black people in the hood are not acting up. It's the ones that act up get the most attention. I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% correct when it comes to the ends. N-words act like this. N-words are rude. And I think Nick Fuentes is an example, in my opinion, of a person who.
He said, hold on. I got to stop it. He's saying not all black people are behaving like this. It's the niggas. The niggas are the ones who act like this, the N-words, right? Let me ask y'all a question. That same culture that we've been talking about, black culture, isn't that dominated by what you would say are niggas and nigga culture? But see, people aren't allowed to say that, right? That same black culture, what are we talking about when it comes to black culture? Are we talking about Ben Carson? What are we talking about when it comes to black culture? It's all niggatry. That's what we're talking about. So when he sits here and says, well, Nick Fuentes, he's only talking about the N-words. He's only talking about the N-word. That has become dominant. Perhaps that's the reason why we're not being as successful as we can in this world, because our culture has been overrun by the worst of us.
Nick Fuentes is 100% correct when it comes to the ends. N-words act like this. N-words are rude. And I think Nick Fuentes is an example, in my opinion, of a person who only have a certain amount of experiences with black people, not the totality of how black people operate.
So now you got to have an experience with the totality of how black people operate to comment on it. This is This is why we can never solve problems. This is why we can never solve problems. Why can't it be simple? Black culture is terrible. We got to figure it out. We got to call out the black communities. If you decide, if you're willing to call it out, then also maybe we'll be willing to lend a helping hand. And what's your mindset? Do you really want to just call it out just because you're trying to call it out, or do you want to call it out because you're trying to bring about a change and to call out a problem so therefore we can figure out a solution?
He's never been in a neighborhood where black people are normal. He's probably experiencing black people hood, thug, N-words.
He's never been in a black neighborhood where black people are normal. He's only experiencing the black neighborhood. What did I say earlier to Ebony? Sounds like the neighborhood that you grew up in was pretty unique. Where are these black neighborhoods? Are these black neighborhoods in LA where black people are just normal? Are these black neighborhoods in Chicago where black people are just normal? In Seattle where black people are just normal? In Baltimore where black people are just normal? In Baton Rouge where black people are just normal? In New Orleans where black people are just normal? Where are these? Where? In DC where black people are normal? In the Bronx where black people are just normal? In Mount Vernon and Yonkers where black people are just normal? Where are we talking about? Where are we talking about?
And then now he's saying black people are like this. Most people interaction with black people are negative.
All right, we're gonna get into the convo. We are gonna get into the convo. All right, so where's the first one that I want to? So this is like I think they were on here for like 5 hours or something like that. So obviously we ain't gonna be able to watch all 5 hours. But let's this is probably a good place to start. Did I just mess it up? Hold on. Let me get 2:10:17. All right, we'll start here. I think this one is on. This is on the same topic. On the same topic. Do I want to go here? Yeah.
I think that what is called far right, what is called anti-Semitic, what is called white supremacist, it's really just reality.
And hold on. Because I see some people wrote, I'm in Maryland. I'm in Maryland. We have some of the most successful black communities in the country. Northern VA burbs have normal black people. You are 100% correct. I went to school in Virginia. Maryland and Northern Virginia is known nationally. Why do you think that you're known nationally for having these successful black groups? I mean, successful black areas. Didn't they have a Real Housewives or some show focusing on these black communities? They're unique. They do not represent the majority of black communities. So do we want to sit back and if we're trying to solve a problem, does it make sense for us to sit back and say, no, black communities are doing just well. They're doing well. You know, there's some in Virginia and Maryland, they're doing well. There's a lot like that around the country. Or does it make sense to say, it's an anomaly. These neighborhoods that we're talking about that are successful in black communities. And let's address all of the ones where we have our kids growing up in areas that are not conducive for them to become successful in life. It's hard for them to grow. They don't have the resources. They don't have the leadership. They don't have the love. They don't have the guidance. But we allow our ego to get in the way. So to defend people from talking about black people, we're going to bring up the anomalies to defend the fact that, black communities. No, there's some great black communities. And I'm not saying that that's what y'all are doing in the comments. I asked y'all for areas that are doing well. So I'm not saying let me actually move judgmental because I don't want to make it seem like I'm calling y'all out. What we tend to do is we get offended and we say, no, there's black communities that are doing successful. This black guy's doing successful. Overall, we're sick. We're not healthy. We're not doing well. We're overweight. The average black woman is weighing like 185 pounds. And I don't want to misspeak, but I believe we said this before. We're a sick community. And if we continue to always defend the things that we do wrong, we're never going to figure out things and move forward. Why do we get offended by what he's saying? Shoot, we should be happy he's willing to call it out, and our leaders aren't even willing to call it out. What is, and I'm asking, what is the average weight of a black woman? I'm just writing it. It is what it is, because I just want to make sure I don't misspeak. I'm sorry. It's 188.5 pounds. We're unhealthy. We're sick. We have problems. Can we fix them? Sign up for the Patreon. We got workout videos available for people. Like, how can you be more upset about the people that are calling out the problems in the community while also providing solutions? This is why I said I feel what Nick Fuentes said when he said, are there any real niggas talking on this stuff? Because not only little old me, and it is what it is. I'm tooting my own horn right now, you could say, but I'm just being real. Not only am I calling out the problems, I've always wanted to present a solution and always have tried to present a solution. Whether it's what we're doing now in workouts and providing different workouts to people and stuff like that, professional development, all these things that we give to people. We have everything. You can access everything on the Patreon for $10 a month. And then on YouTube, we've been doing this stuff for free for the last 3 years. And then before that, this is not anything new. 10 years ago, my mom and I and our family, we had a program helping the kids in the community. Shout out to Vons. Vons, I've told y'all before, Vons was with me in the snow, passing out flyers, going house to house to do free programs and camps for kids that help them with their education, their speech, their financial literacy, all these different things. And you want to know why we had to go house to house? Because the black person that we went to working in the Board of Education said that she didn't want to allow us to distribute flyers to the schools because the parents were complaining about receiving too many flyers. It wasn't the white man holding me back. It was the black person in central office who was in a very high role, which I won't say because then people can put two and two together, but it is what it is. This is why I appreciate what he's saying. Y'all don't listen to black people when they say,
Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.